Welcome to Johnson RV, and thank you for thinking of us with your rentals. My name is Bryce Jench, and what we're going to do here is a little orientation. Some of this you may already know, or some of you just may be brand new. So I'd like to take you around the outside and on the inside of how to use the RV that you're about to use. So I'd like to start at our entry door here. And at the entry door, the real important thing to remember is that you have a latch lock and you've got a deadbolt lock. The important thing is when you leave the motorhome and you're away from it, lock it with the deadbolt. These latches are what they call a pass key, and every salesman at every dealership has this key, and anybody will be able to get into your motorhome. So you're going to have those on here. Let's cruise around. Down in this storage compartment is just a storage compartment. It's all rotocast, so you don't have to worry about any cracking or anything. Go ahead and throw wet clothes and dirty stuff in here. It can just be sprayed out. Right up above that are two 110 outlets. For these 110 outlets to work, you do have to be plugged into power at a campground or have your generator running to supply that power. Right here is an output for the propane furnace. This does blow out extremely hot air, so if you are using the furnace inside, just be careful to watch out for this. The panel here is just an access panel for the refrigerator. It's nothing you're going to use. That's for our service department. And let's keep cruising towards the back. Another storage, and you'll also notice that this storage actually has a little plug in the back that you can unscrew. So if you do rinse it out, it's going to end up draining. So please feel free to throw your wet stuff out here and stay dry inside. And we'll just keep cruising. You do have a backup camera that is up top, so remember that as you're backing up into your campgrounds, you do have extra visibility there. Around over on this side, the driver's side is your hookup side. It's also where you dump as well. So when you go into an RV park, you're going to back up next to a post, and that post is going to supply power and water and cable television. So back here is another storage compartment, another drainable one. But this is also where your shore power cord is going to be. Now this is going to supply 30 amps of service, so when you're plugged into power with this, feel free to run the fridge, the microwave, and the roof air conditioner all at once. You'll have enough power for that. Here's the catch to this. When you are not plugged in at a campground, back in this storage compartment here, there is a plug that the shore power cord needs to be plugged back into itself whenever you are not plugged into power outside. What this will allow you to do is if you're going to take this out dry camping, when you run the generator, this is going to complete the 110 cycle and actually provide 110 power inside. If this is unplugged and you run the generator, you're not getting any power inside of the motorhome at all. So just remember, either plug it in here, and if it's not plugged in here, then it's going to go into power on the outside. Okay? When you are at a campground and they offer television, there is a coax input here, so whatever TV they provide for you, you'll get that in the television inside. Close this. Always watch your head with the slides. Your gasoline only fuel is going to be here, so there's your fill for it. And then we'll come around here to finish up our hookup. So you have a freshwater tank, and that freshwater tank is going to get filled with this gravity fill here. So you're just going to take the hose that you have, kind of stick it in here a little ways, and then turn the water on and it'll fill. When you get any water returning back to you, then you're 100% full. Turn the water off and you're set and you've got your own water supply. Down here is what they call a city water connection, and this city water connection is a pressurized connection. But this is going to be pressured from the faucet that you're hooked up to right to the faucets inside, so the shower and the kitchen and bathroom sinks. And that's that. When you're done, just turn your water off, unhook this, and there's nothing else that you need to worry about that. The freshwater tank itself, it does require the water pump inside for you to use the water that you brought with you. Over here, this is your, let's see, what do we got? We have a 6-gallon water heater. There's nothing you need to do outside here at all. This is going to vent and blow out some warm air, but the control for this is inside. The nice thing about these water heaters is this will work off of your batteries. It'll also work off of 110 power as well, so that you don't have to worry about killing the batteries while you're out. And down here is your propane tank. Now you're not able to fill propane yourself. So if you do run out of propane and you need to get it filled, you can go to a gas station, Walmart's, Fred Meyer's, lots of different places will fill propane for you. But whoever fills the propane has to be certified in order to do that. So when you get it filled, you're just going to open this up for them. You'll also notice that this does not lock. It's a safety thing. If there was an emergency on the side of the road, anybody needs to be able to get in to shut off your propane. So your on and off valve, so lefty loosey, righty tighty, that'll turn it off. And the tank fill itself is the yellow cap up top. So they're just going to pop this guy off. They'll hook it up. They've got a meter out here to know when it's full as well. When they're done, they're just going to put the cap back on. And then you just make sure that you turn the propane on and off when you want to use it. It's not recommended to drive with propane turned on. It's not illegal, but it's not recommended. Now down here is our generator. And you'll notice some of these doors have little clips that will just pull away and then kind of lock it in place so it's not sitting on your head. But down here, you can start and stop the generator from outside. More than likely, you'll be doing it from inside. But the generator is going to provide the same amount of power that you'll get with your short power cord. So if you are out and you're not at a campground, maybe you're boondocking, dry camping, whatever you want to call it, this is going to provide the same type of power that you'll get with that power cord. Now here's a catch with your generator. When you start and stop this in your first day of usage, you want to do what they call a prime. A prime is like a choke on your lawnmower. So what you'll do is you'll hold the stop in about 10-12 seconds until we get a light on. And then we're able to press and hold and fire up. Just watch out for the exhaust here. So let's talk about dumping. You've got a gray tank and a black tank in here. The black tank is collecting the water from all your faucets and your shower, and the black tank collects everything from your toilet. So what you'll notice down here is a 3-inch cap. This cap comes undone, and this is where the sewer hose is going to connect to and then go down into the septic tank for where you're dumping at. You'll also notice that there is a gray colored handle here, and then also on the complete opposite side of the motorhome is a black colored handle, meaning your gray tank, and then over on the other side, your black tank. What happens to open these up, and we do have a little bit of water in the gray tank just to show you, but when you empty this, you're just going to take your handle and pull directly out, and that's going to give you a little free flow there. So when you dump, you're going to dump with your black tank first on the opposite side of the motorhome, let all that come out, and then you're going to leave that valve, the handle, open. You're going to come back over to this side after the black tank is finished dumping, and then you're going to pull the gray, and the water from the gray tank will help flush out the rest of the black tank. Inside on your main control panel, you will have a little tank monitor, and that tank monitor will show the levels of the black and gray tank. So when those are empty, you're done, and you can just come back to both handles, push them back in to close them up, remove your sewer hose, and then put your cap back on. Pretty easy peasy, but I highly recommend using gloves. Just wanted to show you the other side of the coach where the black handle is. So we're right back here. We're just a little away from the exhaust here. But again, you're gonna pull this straight out. Now remember, when we're dumping, to take the sewer hose, a 3-inch sewer hose that you have, and hook it up on the other side. The black and the gray water are going to flow through that. So again, you're hooked up with the hose. The hose is down in the septic tank. Your black tank gets pulled first. When this is empty, and you'll know that by the tank monitor inside, you're gonna leave this open and go around to the other side and pull your gray tank, and the water from the gray tank will help flush out the stuff from the black. Let's cruise over here and we'll go to the entry door where we're gonna bring out the awning. So the controls for the awning are actually right inside the door here. And so right inside, we've got 2 red switches and then a button here that says extend and retract. This is going to extend, is going to bring out the awning, retract will bring it back in. Your red lights here also, you have an LED strip at the end of the awning. So that'll be the lights for that. This one here is going to be your porch light, which is right up against the coach here. So let me turn that on right there. So a little porch light, and then we'll do LEDs. So we'll bring the awning out here. Now some important things with the awning is if you're getting crazy wind picked up and the awning's kind of flapping and going all over the place, it's time to bring it in. It really doesn't take too much wind to just rip this right off of the motorhome. So the awning is primarily going to be for, to block out some sun. If it is raining as well, then it's definitely going to keep you dry in your campground, and then also away from your entry door too. So on the awning, and the second red switch that I have is where we have your little LED strip. This is going to provide a great light for nighttime. And then also at the very end, we got a speaker here, and then there's a speaker on the other side. So inside on the radio, you've got an A, B, and C speaker switch. So you'll be able to toggle these speakers on and off if you'd like. Maybe it'll invite some other campers out with you. So I'm going to go ahead and bring this back in, and then we'll jump inside and go over the rest of the stuff in there. So right before we go inside, let's go ahead and cover the entry door here. We've already talked about the latch, so the locks that we have here. Now when you open it up, there is a gas strut on the bottom, and that's going to prevent wind from slapping this against the side of the motorhome. It's also going to keep it open as well. Important thing is you've got a screen door. So this does have a little handle here, and this will close up. And then on the inside, you've got a little plastic shield that'll slide across, so it's totally going to keep all the insects out. On the inside of the handle, you've got your handle that you're going to hold when you close the door from the inside. You also have the latch, which is going to open the door for you. And then you've got your deadbolt lock and the latch lock as well. So you do have a couple different latches. Just remember, deadbolt is what we want, okay? Let's go ahead and start coming inside. Now, I'm gonna try and stay out of the way of camera here, but just a couple things to point out. You're probably gonna see a latch here and you're gonna get curious and wanna know what it is. Well, your 12-volt house battery is down here. So this is what you wanna keep and remain charged in order to use the motorhome. And speaking of charging, over here is what they call a battery disconnect. This rotates in the off position and then back on. This battery disconnect is exactly how it sounds. It will disconnect power from the house battery that is down here. But the important things is that as you are driving, as you're plugged in, you actually want to keep this in the on position while you're using it. It's the only way for this battery to end up recharging, and it's also the only way for you to use the stuff that's inside. And again, keep it on while you're driving. The alternator in the engine will keep a continual charge to this battery, and you shouldn't have any power issues whatsoever. Come on inside and we'll check out a couple more things here. The first thing that I want you to pay attention to, and we'll go over, is the main control panel here. So on this control panel, this is where we are going to check your tanks. So you've got buttons here, you've got gray, black, fresh, battery, and LPG, which is your liquid propane gas. If you just push the button, we'll get a little readout here. So your fresh water, black water, gray water, and so on. Also, we talked about starting and stopping the generator from the outside. Again, more than likely you're going to be doing it from inside here. But to start and stop, we'll do it just like we did outside. Your stop prime button is here, so just press and hold stop for a couple seconds till we get a light out here. Now we're ready to fire it up. And make sure to hold it until it actually turns over. And now we're on, and now we're getting power from our generator. You can run the generator for 10 minutes, you can run it for 4 hours. That's completely up to you. It is a gas generator, and that gas generator shares the same fuel supply as your engine. The nice thing about that is that there is a fail-safe. So once you get to a quarter of a tank remaining, you're no longer able to use that generator. So you've always got enough gas to get up and get out, okay? Next thing that we've got down here is your water heater control. Like I said, on the outside, there's nothing you need to do to turn it on and off out there. You just need to pick in here whether you want electric or gas to power the water heater. Gas is going to be your propane, and then electric is just going to be regular 12 volt, works off of your house batteries. It is a 6-gallon water heater, so 6 gallons, it can take a good 45 minutes or so for that to actually heat up. Now it is up to you if you want that to be turned on while you're traveling. Just remember, while you're traveling, and if it's on gas, you are kind of burning propane. Next thing is the water pump. Now you have a freshwater tank, you're going to fill that, you're going to bring water with you. The only way for you to use that water out of that tank is to turn this water pump on. Now when you haven't used the water pump for a little bit and there's no pressure built on that pump, when we first turn it on, I don't know if my microphone's going to pick it up, but when you first turn it on, you will hear the water pump for a couple seconds build up the pressure. And then when we come over to the kitchen, and it literally takes 2-3 seconds for the water pump to build pressure, but now that gives us water. It's not something that you have to do, but it is kind of a nice thing since this is a rental. But when you're done using water, say that you're packing up and you guys are all ready to go home, when you turn off your water pump, when you're done camping, we turn it off, come back over to a faucet and turn it on, and just relieve a little bit of the pressure that's on that water pump itself. It will end up prolonging the life of that overall. There's your water pump. And then next up over here, you've got your lights, and everything is labeled. So we've got living room lights and then kitchen lights over here as well. Okay, so main control panel. Again, it's going to be, we got all your tank monitors. So you can always check levels of that for what you've used and while you're dumping. Generator, your water heater controls, water pump, and some lights. Let's cruise over into the kitchen area. So I'm going to turn our water pump back on. And now while we're in the kitchen, we now have either cold or hot water.